Okay, so today is Thursday, February 20. No, it's not the 20th, it's the 19th. So I think next week would be the 26th. So then that should be the last. Yeah, that's right, because that'll be the last. I almost said February of the month. Last Friday of the month, and the day afterwards is Pokemon Day. And what do you know? I'm wearing a Pokemon shirt. Talk about that in a second. There's a reason I'm wearing a Pokemon shirt. Hopefully. Yeah. Brain is braining. Let me try that again. Good morning. It's Thursday, February 19th, 2026. I am wearing a Pokemon shirt because one thing I thought about doing, I think I brought this up like a week or two ago, is like, no, it wasn't in a CTT video. I think it was in my last tier list video. And I had said something along the lines of, I would love to do a Pokemon tier list. Probably not all like 1,000 plus in one video, but like let's go through Kanto, let's go through Johto, etc., etc. And I thought about it more and was like, I could. But I think what might be a little more fun is to do a sprite video, which might just be more gens 1 through 5, because, from 6 onwards, it's not the sprites, it's the models, and I could still talk about that, but that doesn't feel as fun or as interesting. But just looking at a list of the sprites from Gen 1, because here's the thing, there's not 151 sprites, there's 453, because there's the sprites from Red and Green, the sprites from Red and Blue, and then the sprites from Yellow. And some of those I do think overlap. Like there's some, like I think Wigglytuff, because I think in Yellow like everything looks different. But I think like Wigglytuff in both like Japanese Red and American Red, I'll probably just refer to it as green for the Japanese and blue for the American. I think Wigglytuff looks kind of the same between them both. Caterpie was one that looks very slightly different, but basically the same between both. Like there's some like that. But a lot of them are like, no, like these are different sprites. And then there's the extra 151 from Yellow, which are also different sprites. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about 453 sprites in one video. But I'm also like, that kind of sounds fun. Like that genuinely sounds like a fun way to spend an afternoon. So it's been something I've been kind of wanting to do the last few days. Like, let me make sure I put on a Pokemon shirt, so I don't know, I'll be ready to go for it. So that's that. Excuse me. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I'm tired. I just have not slept well the past few days. I don't know if I'd say entirely the past week. It's been kind of off and on. Here, I'm going to just kind of be vulnerable for a second and then get back into like, here's my random bullshit for the week. I've just been kind of depressed lately. And there's not like a clear source. It's not like, oh man, something really big and life-changing happened and I'm like feeling it and dealing with the ramifications. I think it's just, my mental health. I have depression, I have anxiety, and sometimes they just kind of get a bit aggravated. Excuse me, like I just started, because it was last week and the week before, I just did not have a lot of energy. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of that is because my ADD was just like, okay, I'm playing through Trails, and it's a really big game, it's a really long game, and while I am kind of trying to piecemeal other stuff, this is the big project, and also my brain going, man, look at all the time I'm spending doing this one thing, and it was just kind of bumming me out. But then sometimes when I would try to do other stuff, like when I would try to write Isla, I was like, I've got nothing. I'm just like drained. I'm just kind of burnt out. And I think a little bit of that is kind of being burnt out on the story. I think part of it is just not sleeping well in general. And part of it is like, I'm burned out just from playing this game and like all kinds of crap. Sorry, I got distracted because I thought I saw like a butterfly. Like I said, I have ADD. And I had a doctor's appointment last week, which is a regularly scheduled one. And I kind of told him about just like my lack of energy, kind of my lack of drive the past couple weeks. So I've started a new medication, which is an antidepressant. And this is day 2 or 3 on it. Yeah, I think I got it on Monday. I was like, okay, like I refilled everything, but it's a bit late in the day to start, so I'll start tomorrow, which was Tuesday. So yeah, this would be day 3. And that's the thing about antidepressants is one of the it's something that's so like darkly funny to me and really stupid is that, hey, this is something that's supposed to treat your depression. So what's a common side effect? Feeling more depressed. Or like, suicidal thoughts. And it's just something that's bothered me. Like, it was really bothering me yesterday. Just not a great day. Again, not like, wow, bad things happening today. Just, I felt it's kind of more irritable than I should. I felt more overstimulated, like very easily overstimulated, which was leading me to get more frustrated and exhausted. And then just kind of as it went on, I was like, I just feel like drained, like I'm not doing as much as I should, which just was making me feel like kind of worthless. And while also thinking, I know I shouldn't be thinking like this. Like I think I've kind of hit a place in my life where I don't want to say this. Like, I can feel those feelings and know where they're coming from, but not let them consume me the way that I used to. And even that can sometimes be a struggle, but I'm getting a lot better at that. And I'm a lot better at that than I used to be. It's like even yesterday, there was a point where I just like sat on the couch, like I want to take a nap. I'm tired. And I wasn't able to sleep. And I was just kind of starting to get in that cycle of like, let me just get up and do something. Like, I know I don't really have the energy or the drive, but it is genuinely better than sitting here and in like this Ouroboros of sulking. So then I like got up and was productive for a bit and then got to do some writing, which I will talk about in a bit. But like the night before, I didn't sleep particularly well. Like I think I went to bed early because I was kind of tired. I think I went to bed around 10, probably fell asleep around like 10:30, 11. And then I woke up at 1:30 and I don't know when I went back to sleep, probably around like 3:34, just being unable to fall back asleep. And then last night, I don't know when I fell asleep because I just couldn't. And then I think the way I kind of phrased it to myself earlier thinking about it was I hadn't realized I had fallen asleep until I woke up at 5 o'clock. Because I think part of it is just like the way Adderall works. Like sometimes I will wake up in the middle of the night. I heard like one of the roommates getting up and getting ready for work. I also heard the dog like making noise just kind of all at the same time. Like, well, I'm awake now and I'm trying to go back to sleep and I can't. So I've just been awake since on very little sleep for like 2 days in a row. I think I've also mentioned before, maybe I haven't here, I don't know, that on Adderall, I have almost no appetite. So I'm also not really putting, I don't know if I want to say nutrients in my body because my diet's not as good as it should be, and I'll be honest about that. But I'm at least not giving my body as much energy. So I'm not eating well or even that much, and I'm not sleeping well or that much. And I feel like it's less of I'm depressed, so I'm not eating well and sleeping well, and more of I'm not eating well, I'm not sleeping well, and that's kind of started to make me depressed. Oh, excuse me. That's my being vulnerable, tangent. Now let's get back to oh, no, I'm not done actually, I'm sorry. There was this thing that happened this morning. as I was sitting there in the morning, I'm like, I am awake, and I am like physically and mentally tired, but I can't go back to sleep. And I just really, really wasn't feeling good. So I sat there, I started praying, and the kind of just, like, let me talk to God and just kind of pour out my heart to Jesus kind of prayer. Like a Psalms kind of prayer, though nowhere near as eloquent. It was just kind of like, hey man, like, let me, can you bend your ear to me for a sec? And like when I was done, like I said, I closed my eyes, and in my head, I'm just kind of having this image of like me talking to Jesus. And what he says to me, I don't remember the exact lines, but it was essentially something along the lines of, like, I want you to think about someone you love. Like someone you love, someone that you like really care about. Like they mean a lot to you. Like their happiness means a lot to you. And I'm like, yeah, okay, like I thought of someone. And then he essentially says to me, I love you so much more than you love that person. And this is not at all like an indictment on you, not like you don't love good enough. This is how like infinitely more that I love you. I kind of sat with that. And I thought of a heart, not like an actual like upside down pear human heart, but just like the shape of one. And it was a heart, and there was this like deep laceration in the side of it. It was kind of a little graphic. And then I just thought of like a needle and thread sewing it up, and like the cut was closed. And then it like kind of turned and zoomed out like a little PowerPoint animation. But it does that, and I see there's all these other like cuts that have been sewn over. And just kind of the sentiment I got from that is, like, even though your heart is wounded, it can heal, and it has been healing. And to not let that hold you back, like be bold and courageous. And Joshua 1:9 says, be strong. Like, I think it's, have I not commanded you to be strong and courageous? And I think there's like a couple other lines after that. But essentially, like, don't let the fact that you have been hurt stop you from living, stopping you from loving. Because you can still get hurt, but you can also heal from that. And that felt really good and like really beautiful. So although I am still very tired, because that was at like 6:30. What time is it now? Probably around 9:30 or so. Like, I tried to go to sleep after that. I was like, this is nice. Maybe I can sleep. The dog won't shut up. I gotta go let her outside. And I was trying to say, like, while I am still tired, but like, it's, I don't know, it was almost kind of worth it for that, I think. So that was nice. So anyways, now kind of back to regularly scheduled programming, with a transition of, if that was a thing about a heart, I played a game that had to do with hearts. Not trails, I'll get to that real quick. I played a short indie game called Refined Self, the personality quiz game, which, funny enough, is a game I only know about because of one night last week where I was just woke up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I heard Jose and like a video he was listening to talk about it, and I thought to myself, that actually sounds really interesting, and I'm like really close to being done with trails, so that might be the next game I play. I say palate cleanser, and not in a like, okay, I gotta get the taste of trails out of my mouth, but just more of, let me play something like small, more like really feelsy, like a kind of, almost like a nice comfort game. Because maybe that's what it is, maybe it's not. But it's like, let me play something like that before I go into my next like big game project, whatever that is. It's probably going to be Octopath Traveler 2. But I played it, and it's a game where you play as a robot girl doing a personality test, and like all the different things you do, the things that you choose to interact with, some of the things that you don't choose to interact with, like how long it takes you to get to certain places, how long it takes you to answer a question or to respond to a mini game, is stuff that the game tracks, and you slowly like fill up a heart gauge, and once that gets to 100%, it gives you a personality. And the game does encourage you to do it at least thrice, and it gives you like some story beats with that. And what was my personality? I didn't even think about putting this in my notes for this week, because I think I've said this before. Generally, when it comes to my CTT notes, I'm not like taking them throughout the week. It'll be like Monday or like Sunday or Monday, and I go, oh, right, I don't have my notes, and then just kind of think of stuff of like, oh yeah, I did this, and sometimes shit gets lost in the shuffle. I didn't remember this until I was driving over, because I was thinking about what happened this morning and the heart. And I was like, oh, right, I played the game about the heart. I really liked it. I should bring it up. So I didn't write down what my thing was, but I want to say my personality was Wanderer, which was something along the lines of like, you just kind of want to experience things and like enjoy the adventure. What were my two similar personalities? I don't remember. I remember my hidden personality, which I got from the second playthrough, was the samurai, because I did a lot of similar stuff I did the first time. And it was something like, yeah, like you're someone who kind of sticks to your path, you stick to your guns. And my distant personality, I think is what it's called. It's like, this is the one that's nothing like you, the planner. Like that. Like, you know, sometimes I do too much planning. Sometimes I kind of don't do enough. I will say when it came to this game, no, I didn't really have a plan. It was just, I'm just kind of gonna walk around and see what happens. But overall, like, I'm glad I played it. I thought it was really cool and really neat. My favorite thing in the game was the first time I came across a bench. And I was like, I'm going to sit. Like, of course I'm going to just go sit. And so, like, I'm sitting there playing my Switch while Clay is playing on his Switch, because he's playing Octopath 1. I got to talk about Octopath here in a sec. But I'm sitting there, like, playing this, and I just sit on a bench. And I was so calm. Like, I don't think I closed my eyes, but I just sat there and was like, oh, I didn't realize how much I needed this. To just sit here and, like, rest, and I could be quiet and, you know, not have to deal with all the different, like, projects that I'm working on, or be like, okay, like, you know, this is the thing I'm trying to do, but I gotta wait for all this other stuff, or this is the thing I gotta do, but here's all the different steps I gotta do, blah, 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 blah. It's just sit and enjoy the quiet. And it was incredible. Like, man, I should do this more often. So I liked that a lot. So while we're on the subject of games, let's go and talk about Octopath. So I watched Clay play a lot of Octopath 0. Like, I didn't watch every, like, minute that he played it, but I watched the vast majority of the story, and I've been watching his playthrough of Octopath 1, and I don't remember when it was. I don't remember when Octopath 2 came out. I want to say that was like 2022, maybe 23. But he had played it, and I had watched him play it. And normally when I watch Clay play a game, I'm like, I've kind of played this vicariously. Like, I have no intention of playing Octopath 0, because I watched him play it, and I got what I wanted out of this. And watching him play Octopath 1, I kind of feel the same. There's a little bit of I'm kind of interested, but I think I'm good. Watching him play Octopath 2 a few years ago, though, I was like, I can't wait to play this for myself. I just hadn't yet. And I've been really, really getting the itch to. And after I played Claire and then Trails, I was like, okay, this might just be a real RPG kick. And then Trails was 100 hours. So I will never play a JRPG again because that's so long. But, after a palate cleanser, taking a bit of time, not playing anything, but watching him play the other game in the series, I think it's time. So I haven't started Octopath 2 yet, but I plan to do so soon. Like I had said, I have finished Trails. I finished that Saturday. I went ahead and made my video on that. I've also uploaded just a lot of gameplay videos from the game, and that's just been fun to do. I know I took a lot. I think I took some in Sky, and I took a lot in Stellar Blade, and in Claire. I just haven't. So I haven't really messed with my ones from Claire. I should probably get to that at some point. With Stellar Blade, the problem that I had, I don't remember if I've mentioned this before. I think I said it in one of the descriptions on one of those videos, is I thought I captured the whole boss fight for a lot of these, but I didn't. And I think the problem was on hard mode, or excuse me, in the boss rematches, after the fight, it'll say, this is how long it took you to beat the boss. Oh, cool, that said it took me 4 minutes and 58 seconds. Well, let me save for 5 minutes. Cool, I got the whole thing. Not realizing that, this ending little bit where it's kind of showing me my results, that's not part of the time. And I don't think the cutscene following the boss counts either. So some of these, I'm okay, cool, I got the whole thing. I'm missing a chunk. And that sucks, because most of them are like that. I think the ones that I've posted are Taki, Raven, and Scarlet. And I think Taki and Raven are in full because the whole thing that I had captured and recorded included a loss. So oh, okay, let me cut this part. Cool, now I have the entire fight. And then with Scarlet, I didn't do that, so it is missing the very start of the fight. Oh, that sucks, but dude, I felt so good after beating this boss. I'm still uploading it, so I still want to do that for the other fights. I just haven't yet, and then at some point I'll have to look through my backlog, or my catalog of just XP33 clips, and then others that I find. I know I had some from Trails in the Sky. I don't think I recorded a whole lot because I didn't think about it at the time, but that's kind of something I want to do more of. Because some of the stuff I took in Trails was okay, this is me bullying a boss on Nightmare, and this is fun, and this makes me feel good. I am good at game. Once I really was okay, I have a lot of tools, let me really engage and use my resources to their effectiveness. Other times, I took a clip of this because it's really goofy. Here's an enemy I was fighting, and he's surrounded by a bunch of dudes, and he just kind of walks in a circle, goes back to where he started, and then bonks me. I'm why did he do that? It was so weird that happened, but it was funny as hell, so I had to record it. There's just a lot of goofy stuff I experience playing games, and I want to be no, let's remember I can record that and I can share it because I want people to experience this. So there's that. And I guess while I'm still on the subject of Trails, my very quick thoughts on the game, summing up my video, and now that I've had almost a week to sleep on it since, or not, lack of sleep on it. I really like the ending. And I guess I'll put it like this. I like a lot of what happens in Van's story. I like a lot of what happens in Reem's story and in Kevin's story. But because the 3 stories don't converge at the finale, it really feels like here are 2 side stories that are cool and they do supplement the main narrative, but you could cut them and the main narrative really wouldn't be that affected. And in a game that's this long and felt like it really took a while to get to the point, I found that very frustrating. Especially because, without going into spoilers here, there's still a lot of stuff that the game just didn't explain yet. And I'm like, okay, I kind of know and understand what happened at the end. But again, because a lot of things weren't super clear, there's room for interpretation. Like, it's a bit vague. And I think it's really cool and interesting, but it kind of bothers me. But I did think it was neat. I just wish it didn't take so long to get here. I'm definitely the next Trails game is gonna be the SC remake, so of course I'm playing that. It's like, I'm gonna play Kuro 4, but I am also like, Kuro 2 is the worst game in the series to me, and it's not even close. And Kuro 3 has its problems. Like, Kuro 4 is still a day one buy, but I'm now holding my breath more than I thought I would be. So that's kind of my thought on that. Let me take a look. Oh. And then I guess because I was saying earlier, it's like, I'm just playing this game, and it was like 100 hours. I think my final official time was like 95, 96. That does not include like game overs or times where the game crashed, because it did crash like twice or thrice on me. But there was a point where I started just be like, I'm going to listen to audiobooks. So I listened to A Confederacy of Dunces, which I loved, Pride and Prejudice, which I loved, and half of Red Badge of Courage, which I then later finished and also loved. At some point, I don't know if I'm going to do a video on Pride and Prejudice or Red Badge of Courage. I would like to, but I don't really know what I have to say other than like, no, like, I really like both of these and like what they're doing. I don't know, I might watch like an adaptation of Pride and Prejudice and then talk about that and kind of compare it to the book. I don't know. I really want to do a video on Pride and Prejudice, not just because I liked the book and want to talk about it, but because I want to title it like Fitzy and Lizzie, because I keep calling Darcy Fitzy because his name is Fitzwilliam. I'm like, that's my boy Fitz. It's Fitzy and Lizzie, Pride and Prejudice. And I just think that's fun. But like, I genuinely did really enjoy it. I haven't started a new book. I think my plan is like, I'm gonna do audiobooks when I'm playing long JRPGs, which means there's going to be times where I'm like, I'm not listening to the JRPG soundtrack, I'm listening to Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is on my list of potential audiobooks. But I do want to do that. Physical books, my plan is, I was going to do East of Eden next, and I might still do that. I just need to, like, go do it. Because I know Jose has a copy. He's recommended it's one of his favorite books. So I am looking forward to reading it. It's just a matter of when am I going to start it. Oh, right. I completely forgot about these. So during the Sony Direct, the State of Play, there were a couple demos that they mentioned. It was Mina the Hollower and Darwin's Paradox, was the octopus, like, Metal Gear parody. And I did play both of those. I thought they were both pretty neat. Mina the Hollower, if Shovel Knight is Mega Man, this is like old school Zelda-ish. And I guess it's not quite what I was expecting, because I didn't really know what kind of game it was. And I liked it fine. I'm probably not going to get it when it comes out, but I think it seems neat. I don't know if I'll get Darwin's Paradox, but I'm like, I should, because I did really like it. Like, I really liked its sense of humor. I thought the gameplay was fun. There was a point, like, I was playing it with Clay. We were just kind of passing the sticks back and forth. I feel like this is a really fun game to, like, play in a group. It's not a party game, but I feel like it's this is a good thing to, like, play with the boys. So I'm hoping to do that. I caught up on Free Rent, so I think a new episode would come out tomorrow. I think new episodes are Friday, so it's either Japan Friday, which means the new episode is out today, or it's America Friday, so it's out tomorrow. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I like this series. I like it. Nothing to really say there. So Migment, The Management, MGMT. I did finally listen to their last album, because I think I listened to Little Dark Age around 20 hours or so into Trails, and kept meaning to, like, I'm going to listen to Loss of Life. I'm going to get to it. And then I just kind of never did. And I never did my video on Little Dark Age, which I still should, because I've talked about the other albums. I do want to listen to Loss of Life again. And I remember reading a comment, I think it was on the eponymous track, saying, I highly recommend listening to the album again, but listening to it backwards. And I'm interested in giving that a shot. But when I did listen to it, I just kind of, like, I was in a room, I was having some nice floor time. I just, like, sat, was, like, chilling, listening to the album, and I was kind of falling asleep, but not in a, like, yeah, this album sucks, it was putting me to sleep, or, like, I wasn't listening to it. It was kind of lulling me to sleep. Like, it helped me relax, and I really liked it. I just remember, like, I could not tell you the individual tracks off the top of my head. But as I was going through it, I was like, ooh, I really like this one. This one's really connecting to me for, like, A, B, and C. And then the next song, I'm like, okay, I'm really connecting to this one for, like, D, C, and F. That's not the alphabet, that'd be D, E, and F. But like, I really liked it. I should listen to it again. I intend to, and then I'll hopefully talk about both albums together, which essentially is going to be, yeah, I guess it'll be like, let me talk about these two together, and then let me talk about, like, the band as a whole, now that I listen to, I don't know, they probably have, like, EPs or LPs, but, like, I've listened to all their studio albums now. So, okay, there's that. Okay, now I can talk about just, like, book and author stuff. So, few things. Number one, I did not make my Isla deadline last week. I have been working on a new chapter. I've made some progress. I am feeling kind of stucketh of just, like, I know, like, this is where it's at, and this is where it ends, and there's, like, this little bit of chunk to connect them, and I've just kind of been having some trouble with it. What I would love is to be able to post the chapter tomorrow. Like, hey, it's because I missed last week, here we go, and then hopefully the week after can do the next chapter, because these should both be relatively short, but I make no promises. But I'm hoping I can kind of lock in and get some of that done. I finally made a website, because it's something I've been meaning to do, honestly, since, like, December. It's just been on my, like, immediate to-do list, and then I was like, I'm just gonna play Stellar Blade. I'm gonna, I don't know, like, go take a walk, or, like, do some writing, because it's, you know, it's related, but, like, I just kept not doing it. And a lot of it was just like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Then I sat down and started working on a website. I was like, I really don't know what I'm doing. This is a lot. But I did make one. I made it with card, because I've seen a lot of, like, artists that I follow, they really like their stuff. That's what they use. I'm like, this is fine, because all I really want is to just be like, here is the page. Here's all my social media links. Orichalcum, this is where you can buy it. Isla, this is where you can read it. Also Isla, here's the other place you can read it. And then, like, once the visual novel gets, like, becomes available, or there's, like, a demo or something, it's like, now I can put that in there. That's the also, I also put a thing in there, because this is something I was hearing people talk about a lot when it comes to, like, being, especially an indie author, and, like, your marketing, is having a mailing list. And I put a thing in there to be like, if you're interested in joining my mailing list, here's where you sign up. I haven't sent any emails yet. Like, I only did the website, but like, no, today's Thursday, so probably Tuesday. So like, I don't really have a lot, and I don't know really what I want to do with the mailing list. Is it kind of gonna be this, like, all right, every week here's like my basically like here's my CTT notes, but as an email? So literally this could have been an email. Or is it more just actual business stuff? Like, okay, like here, like every 2 weeks, like every month, this is kind of how things are looking. These are the chapters of Isla that I've posted. This is how our calculus, like, etc., etc. I'm not sure yet. We'll kind of try to figure it out and play it by ear. But website exists with my links, my books, mailing list if you are interested. And as for orichalcum, there's actually a bit to say. So number one was, I got a review earlier this week. I want to say Monday, maybe Tuesday. And kind of the long and short of it was really hard for me to give a rating to this book. I believe they gave it 3.5 out of 5. Like, it's hard for me to give this like a star rating because I'm kind of torn on it. Like, it's not the book I was expecting, because it reads more like a slice of life story. And I don't think that's bad, like that's valid. It's just not what I was expecting. But I do think, like, you know, the writing is good, the characterization is really good. Like, I do like this cast, but the plot is something that's just kind of very much in the background. And then you get to the last 100 pages or so, and the plot takes center stage, and it gets a lot more interesting, and like, oh, this is really cool. So, like, I am looking forward to seeing what happens in the next book. I think they specifically said, like, I'm really looking forward to seeing like what a plot-focused sequel would look like. And, you know, I'd be interested in other stuff by the author. And that review really, like, stuck with me for 3 reasons, aside from the fact of like, oh, look, like someone actually did read my book, and despite some like misgivings, they did ultimately like it more than not. Like, those are good reasons for it to stick with me. But 3 reasons. Number 1, they have a point. That to me is a valid criticism, because it's something I thought about while I was writing it, which is, I can easily see someone reading this book and getting really into it because they really enjoy the characterization and they really enjoy the dialogue between the characters, and they like the slow burn, and they like kind of the way that the world building is like slowly introduced. I can also see someone reading this and going, nothing happens for a lot of this book. It is just people sitting or standing around and talking to each other. And yeah, that is a lot of what happens in the book. So I'm like, that is a valid take.